way you see value, and you said it in the beginning, is that there's so many ways that there is value in this world, and only productivity is measured in like world currencies today, right? But the world right now is not focused, or with these emerging new technologies. Productivity is not really the source of value in the future. It's going to be something different, and I believe that because the works of even blockchain or AI, I mean, their productivity level is so much higher than human beings that no longer are we going to be working to enhance productivity and being paid for it, right? So you have to find a different way that we can monetize, things that we have, whether it's our creativity or I don't know, social, connections towards people, and that is actually going to be our value going forward, and I think with the use of blockchain or cryptocurrency, then you can kind of create that in a way so that you can maybe crowdfund your value or even monetize it in that way. And you mentioned that there is a different future where we can create that going forward, and I really like that idea. Um, yeah, so I think
Absolutely.
and I think in terms of like the Libra, yes, you mentioned about the unbanked and how they can get access to financial products that they can monetize some of the other things that they have rather than they themselves. And I believe that. I mean, it's a sociological problem that they're facing. It's not about just bank accounts that they don't have, right? And giving them a Facebook account or a WhatsApp account doesn't really solve all those, right? But it is also a necessary tool for them to have access to the further services that they can get, beyond that. And what I think the industry needs to create is more services that are based on these technologies that can create an ecosystem around them so that they can lift them out of poverty.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think a lot of local entrepreneurs will start making money out of it. A
Hmm.
lot of innovators will build
Hmm.
applications on top of it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Abraham Maslow talks about this idea of self-actualization. We are running, running, running every day. Some people work 6 days a week, 7 days a week. What's the point of it all? I'm reminded by this quote from the Bhagavad Gita, which says, "Vasamasi jirnani yada vihaya," and goes on like that. The whole idea of the quote is that like how we wear clothes
Mm,
and then wear new clothes and wash off the old clothes. The body dies and the soul moves on from one lifetime to another lifetime.
mm,
So we're here for 60, 70, 80 years, and that goes away like that in one lifetime. And so we have to understand that this is memento mori, that everything will go, and
mm,
we're here for a short period of time.
yeah.
And the pursuit of happiness is very important. Self actualization is very important. You've got to be able to do what you want to do. I mean, we no longer have to live in the paradigm of scarcity.
Mm,
We have technology that can create abundance.
yes.
We just need to create these monetary systems that can distribute value
Mm,
and help people go there. And we need to also design systems where, like in Bhutan, I mean, they have this thing called the gross national happiness. At the end of the day, it's about the pursuit of happiness. I
yeah.
mean, are we happy?
Mm,
We've got X and Y amount of degrees. We've got X number of dollars in the bank. But does it make us happy?
mm,
I mean, there's still a paradigm of fear,
yeah.
and we have to go from fear to a paradigm of joy and happiness and prosperity in the mind. And I think that's the ultimate goal, to go deep within ourselves
Mm,
and to disconnect from all of these unreal
mm,
things.
mm,
And and so what this gives you is a handle, that the
mm,
crypto gives you a handle to
mm,
send money to some of these people who are trying to do this,
mm,
to break away from some of these dogma that
mm,
we've created. So, and that's what I see. It's an empowering technology.
mm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I mean, I think the economic theories that we had up until today was always focused on human beings as economic animals, right? Where pursuit of self interest is the most important thing, and that's how we measure the value of us. But human beings are not just about pursuing self interest, right? It's also about giving as well,
correct.
sharing. We're social animals too. I want to have a relationship with a friend, with a wife, a family, kids, and all these things, and the economic theory doesn't capture that,
Correct.
and I think that's the fallacy of how our modern day society is like kind of crushing down because we're not giving enough. We're not caring about each other enough, and it's always about how can I, make money, how can I advance in society, and even our education system is telling us that you have to win all the time, right? You have to get a good job, you have to make money, and that's your measure of success. But there's many ways to feel happy, and having a lot of money and having social status doesn't really give you happiness, and it's time right now for the world to actually start telling people that that's not how we're supposed to live. And I really resonate what you always say, because you're the blockchain monk. And
Thank you.
you are a very spiritual person, so you come out with that idea, in the front, and I could feel that a lot, and I really like that. But yeah, how tell us about, like, what your how your meditation or your spirituality is kind of colliding with technology. I really want to hear that.
So, I was born into this, in India, we have this system in which, the Brahmins or being the temple
Yes.
priests, where we've been, 6,000 years, we've been temple priests, and
Mm,
uh, there was never pursuit of money.
mm.
I mean, the Brahmins always pursued God, and God was the center of your universe. And they're always very poor. And so you see I'm the poorest crypto guy here because of that, because
Right.
crypto was never about money. It was
Right.
about social change, and it was all about
Yes.
technological change, innovation, all those things. But but what it helps you to do is to go deep within yourselves.
Mm,
And we understand that we're not the body, we are, beyond this. We always exist and we'll always exist.
mm,
It's just this spiritual thing called the soul having this human experience in this lifetime.
mm,
And hence that's very important at the end of the day. I mean, I remember the Beatles when they were interviewed George Harrison
mm,
before he died. I think it was his last interview when
mm,
the TV interviewer asked him, "So what do you value most? You've seen all of the world. You have so much money. And all these guys in the 70s and 80s.
mm.
Beatles. Steve Jobs. They all went to India to
Yes.
meditate and
Mhm.
spend time in ashrams because they
Sure.
realized that there was, you know, this crisis. At one point of time, you see what is the point of it all?
Mm.
I wake up in the morning, I go to work, I come back, I sleep. I'm like a machine, right? I mean,
Yeah.
what is the point of this? I mean, there's all these people that I'm competing with, I'm creating adversity and all that stuff. So they said, you need not be like that. We are a deeply spiritual being that has existed for millions of years. You're just having this experience at this moment of time, this planet, in this form,
Mhm.
right? And so it need not be like that. And so he says, at the end, the only thing that really matters is love,
Mhm.
the love that we have for each other. You
Sure.
cannot buy that with money.
Yeah.
Genuine love that we have for parents, for our children, for our friends, that's the only thing that really matters. And the ancient communities, when we were a community, when we knew who the neighbor was and who the neighbor's son
Yeah.
was, and that's how it was.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of love, affection, caring, and all that
Mm.
stuff. And today we see we've created a system in which people want to commit suicide. I mean,
Yeah.
I look at all these shootings and all these things, and I
Sure.
keep asking, I mean, this deeply spiritual being,
Mm.
what would it take to get us to do something like that?
Mm.
Right? And
Yeah.
so that goes back to this idea of the economic model, scarcity, and all this
Mm.
stuff. It need not be like that.
Mm.
We could create a much better society. We could evolve into something, which would really bring out the human potential,
Mhm.
which is the potential of God. If God was created in the image of man, sorry, if man was
Mhm.
created in the image of God,
Yeah.
and God was created in the image of man,
Mm.
we have the potential to be godlike, right? And to be illuminated, to be the light. Um, and rightfully so. I mean, that's our destiny at the end of
Mm.
the day. But we need to fix some of these things first before we can get there.
Yeah.
And but that's the only thing of any value, and I'm pursuing that right now. I mean,
Mhm.
you always see. I mean, we build relationships with people, and you put a lot of value to that. We put a lot of value to relationships, friendships,
Mhm.
and these are genuine things. That's what I tell my friends. They say, "Oh, you have so many friends all over the world." And I say, I mean, I don't look at people as transactional value. I mean, it's
Mm.
like your kindergarten.
Right.
You play with other kids that you find interesting to play with,
Right.
and that's how the world should be.
Yeah.
We should
Right.
play with people that we like, and
Mm.
everything else is just a facade.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
the love is the only real thing that really matters.
All you need is love.
All you
Right.
need is love.
Yeah. Yeah, you do actually travel quite a lot, don't you? Like, you're never in one place. How long has it been in Singapore for a while?
every 4 or 5 days I keep getting invited.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've been very lucky, I feel very blessed, is that I've been able to see the action all over the planet.
Mm.
So blockchain is used differently in different parts of the world.
Mm.
You go to the US, it's much more to do with technology and things like that. You
Mhm.
look at Africa, it's much more, livelihood, solving like real world problems. It's about survival.
Yes.
So using blockchain to do, like, let's say, can I, make a cross border payment, at a much cheaper cost, that kind of stuff. You look at, Asia, it's more financial engineering, D apps, and all this stuff. So you get a sort of perspective of the human problems around the world,
Mm.
and you see how these problems are being approached, tackled by people in those
Mm.
different countries, and it and it's fascinating. So you get a sort of planetary perspective.
Mm.
So every 4 or 5 days, I'm in a new place. I keep getting invited to speak, and we build beautiful relationships with beautiful people all over the world, and they all have the same aspirations. I mean, to be happy, to be, to do something useful, meaningful with their lives, and maybe the path they've taken is not so right or whatever.
Mm.
And but that's what friends are for, to
Yeah.
show them that they don't have to, be a zero sum game.
Mm.
I mean, there could be wealth and prosperity for everybody if you know
Yeah.
how to collaborate and leverage each other's skills and all
Mm.
of that stuff.